Hi, come on in. I have two neat little quilt blocks to show you. Um, I was looking at Cathedral windows one day and I thought, gosh, that's really pretty, but I don't know if I want to spend a lot of time. And look what I found that you can do quickly and simply, and it is just adorable when you put several together. I was just amazed, and I'm really pleased. I'm going to actually complete a project this time using those. Now, the ones I made, actually several of them, and you can make it whatever size you want. The ones that I'm showing you are my trusty 3.5 inch ruler, square size. You need squares the same size, doesn't matter what size. 5 squares the same size, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the center. Now, I, in a lot of cases, did 4 the same fabric, and I made the center at fussy cut, or you might want to vary the outside, or you might want to do every second side, or make sure it fits the scheme of the color beside it. So 5 squares the same size, and the white part actually is a larger square, and it, similar to the one we did the other day, the flying geese, it's double the size of the small square minus 1/2 inch, because you want your seam size left here. You want your 1/4 inch so you can do your sewing. So 5 squares the same size, the bigger square is double minus 1/2 inch. I would say a generous 1/2 inch, and this one I didn't really leave enough. I have to be really careful I don't catch the ends of my window sill, I guess it would be. So for this one, you have your 5. So you take 2 of the smaller squares, and you're putting the bottom square right side up. Your larger square is, make sure that you leave the folded edge not to the bottom, but all your raw edges together. So the folded edge is not to the bottom, and it's right side out, and then you put your top one right side down. So the 3 of them are all looking at each other right side together. Now, when you finish that, watch that your edges are all together on the raw edge, and you have your little fold here. Sew a seam on this side. Go over, find your 3 others, your right side up, your edge away from the bottom, and right side down. And when you're finished, you have something that looks like, well, it looks weird. You have a little pocket, and you have your 2 flaps on the end. So you're going to take that, match your 2 seams, open it up, match your 2 seams, and you have to play with this a little in the bottom because, of course, it's double the size. And you're going to fold your the inside fabric, so that the both sides are level. So you're going to have 4 layers here, and they're going to be all meeting. I would put a pin or a clip or something in here and work on one side first, and I'll show you why in a minute. So you have your 4 layers there, and I did this. Let me find them. The 4 layers, and I sewed it to the center. Because when you go to sew your other side, you have to kind of just flip your fabric out a little. It's not hard, you just have to remember to do it so that it matches. It's easier to sew when you make a nice flatter job of it. And you continue sewing right along. So when you turn it over, lo and behold, you have the foundation of your window. So when you go from there, all you have to do, this isn't going to lay flat because one end is not sewn. You fold your window in and pin, well, before you pin it, I have some centers here. You put your center in, and that's the same size as each one of those. You lay it down and fold it back and pin it, and you sew just along the edge on the inside of the window. sew it down. You turn to this side, so turn it in and sew it down. And you end up with one that looks like that. So you can do, I did one with all the sides the same and the center are different. I did some with opposite sides the same and the center different. I thought I needed something light and spring-like, so I went with the pale greens. Green is usually not a color I sew with, but I thought it looked kind of pretty, and we need something light and bright right now. Now, if you prefer, go with a darker center. That's really pretty. Something, whatever you're looking at that you would want to showcase, and you do your fussy cutting, it shows it off well. So, I made a few more, and that's shown below there. Let's pick it up. And you might want to set them down. I did this on purpose to show how if you want them to match or to go together in a certain pattern. I'm looking for another green. Anyway, if you want them a certain pattern, this you get all one color the same. If you want to continue like one on either side, you could turn this square around so you have like a half circle would be a dark green and the other half would be a light green. So they make up fairly quickly, and it does look nice. It does look nice. Now, I didn't have any particular pattern for these colors. Now that I see it, I would prefer it with a pattern. For some reason, I have to go make everything even, but I am going to take a few of these out and maybe vary it a little. The plain one, I thought I was going to go all with the plain light green, but when I got it together, it seemed a little too light. I needed a little bit of color in there. So you might want to play with them before you set them down. Let's do one of these. There we go. There's the two greens, so that you see when you put the darker color, you'll have a half circle of the darker green, and you'll have a half circle of the light. So if you want to make them all half and half, or however you want to go about it. Anyway, I thought that was pretty cute, and I thought you might want to check it out. It's called Faux Cathedral Windows. It does quickly. It's not hard. You just have to be careful. Take a little bit of time to make sure your edges are carefully done, that you have your 1/4 inch seam on the end, and they meet at a peak. One thing I might mention is I found when I did the ones, it says the same size for the inside, but if you don't really put your edges down, fold over as tight as you can, sometimes you might be able to see a little bit of white. It doesn't come right to the end. So if you want to go like 1/8 of an inch larger than these blocks, or when you fold it down, make sure you fold it over so you don't see. When you're sewing, check that out. Do I see a little bit of the plain white showing through from the bottom? So I thought, well, they're pretty cute. Let's try a different size. So I cut out 2.5 inch squares. I think this is cute. 2.5 inch squares. But instead of making my cathedral window, which I could and I think would be adorable, I put something different in the center. I left it open and fluffy and put a button in the middle, and I think that's a cute little idea too. So it's a snowy day again, so if you're inside, you might want to do some construction and make some windows. Now the other design is my partner in crime, Marlene, found a design, and it's called Petal Pop Pillow. And well, the pattern she made is for a pillow. It's Petal Pop quilt block, and it's very similar to the one we made the other day that we call folded block. It has a couple of changes, and I can't give you the exact dimensions because it was in the Quilter's World magazine from Christmas 2021 that just came out at Christmas time, and the designer is Kristen Clay, and it's really cute. Now, basically, and it's easy to follow, and it makes such a cute pattern. Basically, you start out the same way as we did with the folded block, only this one varies a bit. You take your 3 pieces the same size, fold the top 2 are the same, and you fold them in triangles and put it on the bottom square. Now, where it differs is I would tack the 2 triangles at the outside. I would pin them or clip them on the outside because you're going to be working on the inside on this one. So you clip them, fold this back, sew a little seam down the center, and when you fold it back, you have your seam in the center, and with the sides you're going to fold it, not sew it down, but tack it with a little bit of embroidery thread, and so you have your seam in the center and tacked back, not sewn down. And look how cute this comes out. Let's set this down. Look at this, isn't that adorable? Now you can see, I don't know if you can see in the center, we have the little seam sewn in each one. And you have your flowers, and it does look like the petals of a flower. I thought that was adorable. Of course, blue is my favorite color, but I thought it was really cute. Now, she only needed one, well, I find this hard to match. There's 5 flowers in a 12-inch and 12-inch pillow form, but that it's a really cute idea. Now, here's one. She left this for us to talk about, and in this one, let's go back to this. She's showing this is how it would be before she finishes the whole thing. There's everything finished up, and this is where it is each block sewn with your little seam in the center. Sew all your blocks together, and then make your petals. It's easier when they're all together than to work with one little block at a time, in this case. So she made this petal. You sew your seam, and when you're finished, there she showed one here. Now she was going to continue. You go along, pick this up. Instead of sewing it, you're going to fold it back and stitch a little stitch so that your stitch shows with embroidery floss. You want the heavier thread so that it shows. And that's the entire pillow. I thought that was adorable. So I get an idea and she expands on it. I think it's a great team. So that's it for today. And I thought, wow, they're almost as fast to make as they are to talk about. And they're cute. So I have a couple of tips for you, since we're finished in a shorter time than I usually am, because I decided not to drag it out today. This is something that one of our guild members mentioned one day. She bought a brush holder at the makeup kit at the dollar store, and it's great for holding your supplies, scissors, seam rippers, whatever you want to set in there. It holds it sturdy, and I bought the nice bright color so I could see it in a hurry. The bonus is the case it comes in is just a perfect size for 2 two rotary cutters, or a rotary cutter and a pair of scissors. So you're all set. So I hope you have fun making some of those. I thought they were really cute. I am going to make some of the little 2-inch ones, and I think I actually might make them into cathedral windows. It's easy to do, and they're so cute when they're finished. So whatever size you want, you decide on it. Remember that the 5 squares are the same size. The bigger one is double minus ½ inch for your seam allowance, and enjoy yourself. Bye now.